Bring it on in. Sixers wrap-up show powered by 97.5 The Fanatic. I am Sean Bray. 76ers lose 108-100 to the Boston Celtics in a pivotal Game 3. Celtics now up 2-1. And it was a game that was definitely winnable. That's for sure. We're going to break this one down every way possible, from the announcers to the final score. Joining me, as always, in your middle of your screen, representing the squad over at DraftKings, DK Nation, and CrossingBroad.com, Sean Barnard. And on the far right of your screen, Sam Oshtry from The Score. Sean, I will start with you. In the second game, because the Celtics, actually, no, let me take it back. Games 1, game 2. Celtics missed a bunch of shots that the Celtics have made over the years in those spots. Tonight, they made those shots. Peyton Pritchard, Tatum, that was the killer. Those were the daggers in the fourth quarter. It was a very winnable game. There were moments that you felt like the Sixers were outmanned going up against them, especially when Paul George is literally having to go up against Jaylen Brown and pull a rabbit out of a hat, and he's dumping it off to Andre Drummond. I mean, it was nice chemistry there, but it was really desperation. Credit to Tyrese Maxey for bouncing back in a big way. We'll go into his game a little bit, but if you make a few more shots throughout the course of a game, and I look at VJ, who was awful from downtown, rookie, but it's the playoffs, man. You gotta make them when you get the opportunity. And the Boston Celtics just came in, and for my money, we're the better team this evening. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was an admirable effort from the Sixers squad that they competed hard. I thought they brought the effort level. They brought the fight right from the first half and allowed this game to stay within reach, even while the Celtics really played pretty strong basketball throughout. It does feel a fitting way to lose this game on an offensive rebound, kick out to a Jason Tatum dagger. That's just about how things are written in the storybooks right there for how this one's supposed to end. A frustrating loss for sure, because it was right there. They had every chance to grab it, but the Celtics played good ball, man. And I have some questions about the process down the stretch. I didn't love that we basically entirely went away from Tyrese Maxey during that final stretch, run a ton of Paul George and Andre Drummond pick and rolls, which had some success, but I still question that. Why is that the bread and butter? And I think we saw a little bit of the lack of chemistry of this unit playing together. It didn't feel like there was a cohesion between Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, who have to be on the same page. So one that we're going to feel, especially if the series is not one that turns out in the Sixers' favor, because that was on a silver platter for a stretch of time there.
17-11 for total turnovers. Boston turned the ball over 6 more times than the Sixers did. Boston led for 75% of the game, and all-important three-point shots made for the Boston Celtics, 20 of 47, 43%, and the 76ers, 34%, 12 of 35. Sam Oshtry, what stood out to you from this game?
First off, incredible basketball game both ways, and the Sixers' effort was good and encouraging moving forward, and we'll talk about where Joel Embiid fits into all of it. But this is a Celtics team that we've said a million times lives and dies by the three. They shot 58% of their entire field goal attempts were from three. That is an absurdly high three-point rate, higher than it was in game 2. And they shot a pretty good percentage, way above their season average, actually. I believe it was 43%. And on the year, they only shoot around 36, 37% from deep. So it really came down to they got hot late, and it was at the right time. And you look at a couple defensive miscues from the Sixers where they're rotating, and Vucevic has this ball fake, and both VJ and Andre Drummond go flying to the right wing on this Vucevic ball fake, and that leads to a wide open three for Jason Tatum. And then they had a great defensive possession, but Peyton Pritchard just hits a ridiculous shot as the shot clock's winding down. And then you go to they can't grab the defensive rebound, and Derek White gets the board for a kick out for Tatum. And those were the 3 threes that were the daggers. And it was kind of just trading threes for twos because, like Sean said, the Sixers were getting good looks off that Drummond, Paul George pick and roll. They scored 3 straight times, but you were trading threes for twos, and it was a little too late. Derek White, by the way, has been terrible in this series. He's been a really bad shooter for 4 months, but that's kind of how he can impact games. Even when he's not scoring and not shooting well, that offensive rebound was just a killer. And that was the ball game. And Tatum, to his credit, was incredible in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Derek White finished 3 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 8 from downtown. I saw a couple people talking about they liked his number breaking out of the slump at 2.5 made or 3-pointers, 3-3-pointers made over 2.5. Obviously does not hit. He's been pretty bad out there, but still valuable at times. We know that. Celtics come in and steal this one. The series is not over. We know what's at stake here on Sunday. The big man will be back. Is there any way, are you guys taking anything positive away from tonight's game? Going, you know what? All right, Boston did what they were supposed to do. Let's not forget that the Sixers went in and took a home court away. It comes down to game 4. It's a winnable basketball game, and then it's a best of 3. Anyone have that approach right now?
Yeah, I definitely think there's positive. Like I look at these first 3 games.
Shocker.
The most part of the Celtics, like tonight especially, I thought threw their best punch. And what my takeaway is through these 3 games is they can play with this Celtics team. But when they play to their best, they can run with them, man. Like there were several chances tonight or stretches where I thought this might be where the game get out of hand. And in every single one of those, they had a response. They found a way, whether that was a little Tyrese Maxey heater, whether that was Andre Drummond banging on the boards, hitting threes, Kelly Oubre Jr. making winning plays, drawing offensive fouls left and right. There was a lot of good to take from tonight, but the bottom line is it's still a loss. It is still a 2-1 series deficit. So you have to approach every single game with the necessary intensity and bring it from start to finish. Any little slippage, which really in tonight was that last defensive or offensive rebound that you did allow, that essentially cost them the game. And I know there's a million ways where you can swing it, where things went wrong here, things went wrong there that you point to, but that little moment, that just can't happen. If they get a board there and all of a sudden it's Sixers ball and you're getting a look at this, we probably have a very different tune on this post-game show right there. So I was impressed with how they played overall. I do think there's positives to take from it. I do think they can play toe-to-toe with this Celtics team, but it's still a loss.
Sam, did you get enough from Paul George? Is that all we can expect from him tonight? He went 7 of 14 from the field, 4 of 7 from downtown, 18 points. He had some good stretches, 41 total minutes. Is that the Paul George that we should just expect, or is it fair to, look, in this moment, we need more?
You look at the box score and you're like 18 points. You're going to need more scoring against the Celtics team. But I thought he had a pretty good game on both ends and took a little while for him to get going. He didn't really attempt a shot for the first few minutes, but most of the first quarter. But I think Nick Nurse has been really intentional about getting him looks. You saw this in last game, in game 2, and tonight. They ran a play. The ATOs that Nick Nurse is drawing up are almost entirely for Paul George. The start of the second quarter, the start of the third quarter, the start of the fourth quarter, all 3 of those plays were designed for Paul George to get touches, and he's been productive on those touches. So, and especially down the stretch too, he had 5 assists on the night. 2 of those were late in the pick and roll to Andre Drummond rolling to the hoop, and he had that late basket too on another Andre Drummond ball screen. So I was pretty impressed with him, honestly. Like, yeah, you'd want him to be more involved. You want him to get more touches, but he kind of read the Celtics defense pretty well, and they were still playing a drop. It was more of a shallow drop, but it was, they were mixing some deep pick and roll coverages up, but they gave opportunities for Paul George to hit some shots coming off ball screens. So I thought, like, the box score is 18 points. And that's not crazy. You expect more. I thought he was pretty good. I don't think he was the problem tonight.
Yeah, it's tough really to sit here and say, I give a little bit more praise to the Celtics. They hit their shots, especially down the stretch. It's tough to really pinpoint why, or if it nail down one player for who's at fault here. And I'm sure as heck not making the case that VJ Edgecombe in his 3rd playoff game ever, he's the reason why. But 0 of 7 from downtown, 5 of 17, clearly did not have it going. Did finish with a double-double, so he's providing a lot of worth. There was a moment down the stretch that I was like, all right, this is new. You finally got somebody that's so athletic that I'm like, can he shut down one of them? Can he stop? If you put VJ on Tatum and say, dude, just that's it. You're on him. Don't leave him. Like, I know it's not that easy, but I was, in the back of my mind, I was hoping. Yeah.
He's so athletic, but he's too small for those guys, which is why Paul George and Kelly Oubre are usually the matchups on Tatum and Brown.
Oubre was, down the stretch. Saw that, yeah.
And like that's so against Nick Nurse's scheme, which I don't fully subscribe to the theory, but the theology behind Nick Nurse is he wants multiple bodies, multiple different looks. He wants all the picture constantly moving, that he kind of rejects the notion of let's throw a guy on a guy and just allow that to be the matchup. He wants switches. He wants bodies flying all over the place. When it works and when it's clicking and you're generating turnovers, getting out in transition, it looks great. But there's stretches where all of a sudden you end up with Jason Tatum with Andre Drummond on the perimeter or situations like that, which happen quite a bit tonight. So there's pros and cons to it. I do think VJ did his work early really well on Tatum, like fighting before the ball got there. He forced 1 turnover in the first half there. That I really appreciated there. But I do think like that conversation is less about VJ's skill set and more about the nurse system.
I mean, you do. Well, nobody's gonna blame VJ Edgecombe for not playing a good game in his 3rd playoff game. But if you are gonna win a game like this, you need more from your second or third best player. And he lost confidence in that 3-ball too, which was bad. I mean, there was a couple times he was open, he was turning them down, and he never loses confidence going to the hoop because he knows how athletic he is. But he just didn't have it offensively. I do want to say the Sixers were incredible defensively. I thought there was a point the Celtics weren't even going to score 100 points, and they had that flurry of threes late. But the way they were ball pressuring and high pickup points, making it really difficult for the Celtics to get into actions. And then they were loading up in the gaps, and they had really good help all night on the Celtics drives, where they were living with Derek White threes, and they were living with even Vucevic threes for a lot of the night, and making it really difficult for the Celtics to get to the rim. I thought the Celtics or the Sixers defense was one of the best defensive performances I've seen all season from them. And then when the Celtics got downhill and drived and kicked, the Sixers were flying to closeouts. They were closing out incredibly. I mean, their effort was probably the best effort we've seen all season. You expect that in a playoff game, but defensively, this was one of the best games I've seen from the Sixers.
Without breaking down the film, Sean, was it just a matter of like the ball not bouncing their way on some of those offensive rebounds? You know, like with the closeout, as Sam just described, what you're just stuck with Bona down low. I know Maxey crashes, and it just kept them bouncing. It felt like White had a big time one where he pulled it down and tossed it to Pritchard. Is it just as simple as the ball didn't bounce their way, or is there something else they could have done? And again, without watching the tape.
Yeah, there's other stats too. Like you mentioned the turnovers there. What I think is the more telling stat in that is the Celtics turned the ball over 17 times, but they also had 21 points conceded off turnovers. The Sixers, 11 turnovers and 14 points conceded off turnovers. So when you think about it like from that direction there, I thought the transition defense from the Sixers left a little bit to be desired there. There were a couple sloppy turnovers that ultimately did play. The Sixers, like I like their 3-point volume, and they're never going to shoot at the rate or the efficiency of the Celtics team, but they were in the ballpark, which is all I'm really asking for. There's a lot that I liked from this Sixers team, man. And it's a small margin for error. I mean, this is a damn good basketball team in the Boston Celtics. A lot that you can take positive, but at the end of the day, it is a loss. I mean, you got to wear that one on the chin.
I also got to say, 4 of the Sixers starters played over 40 minutes tonight. Like, these guys didn't sit. And when you're ultimately looking at this matchup, the Celtics are just way deeper. I mean, they have so many guys that they can go to off the bench. I mean, Peyton Pritchard comes off the bench. He had 5 threes tonight. But Luka Garza gave you a decent 4-minute shift. He had a 3. We know Vucevic, Baylor Shireman. He's an incredible shooter. Like, they just have so many different guys that they can go to where their stars don't need to play. I mean, Tatum and Brown are going to play 40-plus minutes, but not everyone else. Like, the Sixers just don't have that bench. I mean, they have Grimes and Justin Edwards, who I didn't think gave you much tonight. And then it's really just Bona and Drummond ping-ponging in to serve that center spot. So they don't have a bench. And that's why Kelly Oubre has to play 40-plus minutes. That's exhausting. And now you're on 1 day of rest going into Sunday. It's going to be tough Sunday. I don't know if you can expect them to have the level of intensity and effort that they did tonight, which was incredible.
Yeah, they did from the beginning. But you remember, you're going to raise things up if the big man plays. Now, I don't think that's a lock. I really don't. Some of the things that I was reading pregame, I didn't really come away feeling all that positive about him playing Sunday. Everybody's trying to sell it to me today, Barnard. Why did you guys make me even think that?
Bernard teased the people with that tweet.
Well, but then Marks was doing it too on air. You guys made me think that we had a chance. I knew better. I do
think there was a chance.
Well, there was conversation. I know.
This is my understanding of things, is that he did have more or less a full practice. They went through the shoot around, went through all the film, that there was an expectation that he was going to play today. He got there in the afternoon, got to the arena, and didn't get the full clearance from the doctors. What I do take away from that is there's a pretty damn good chance that he is available Sunday. So I did tease it. I was under the impression that he was expected to play, and I thought that was going to be the case there. Ultimately did not come to fruition, but we will see. Sunday,
everything you just said was correct. Just so you know, I'm busting your stones.
No,
but he gave it a shot, but the issue that I took away was some of the things that were being said as you know that I read. It just didn't really give me a positive vibe about Sunday, but we'll see. Got, another day. So that today was day 15, 16. Yep. Maybe by day 17, he's ready to go. Is it a night game on Sunday? It's a night game, right?
7 o'clock. Yep.
Mhm.
I do want to
Alright,
say
Sean,
about the
go.
turnovers too.
Well, Sean wanted to say something about Vucevic, though. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just gonna say, like Joel Embiid at 50%, man, is giving Vucevic buckets every single possession. That dude can't guard anyone, man. Like Drummond, the pick and roll defense was some of the worst I've ever seen from a professional big man right there. You think I'm saying it as a hyperbole, Brace? I absolutely could get buckets on Nikola Vucevic. He can't stop anything in the paint, man. Like Joel,
I gotta start writing these down, man, because you've said you can get buckets on a number of NBA guys.
He thinks
now.
he can get buckets on half the NBA.
I mean,
Vucevic
like
is on the list.
you're gonna say the same thing about Scalabrine, and he did that. He had those videos, and it's like you guys get out there, and you guys can't score on a guy like Scalabrine.
Not a you guys, it's a Barnard.
Yeah. I'll say it with my chest. I was the only point that I was gonna acknowledge before this is, Sam, you mentioned the lack of depth here. That's a direct criticism of Daryl Morey. Is like it just is on Daryl Morey there. Like how many points do we get from that 22nd overall pick you trade for the trade deadline there? Nikola Vucevic, for all I'm critiquing for him, that was the upgrade that the Celtics brought in at the trade deadline. And I didn't expect that to be like the type of target we're talking about, but you absolutely can get a rotational player, a guy that can make an impact, and he totally neglected that area right there.
Grimes only played 15 minutes tonight. Grimes played 15 minutes.
He sucks. He's not an NBA rotation player. I'm kind of at that stage with Quentin Grimes that I don't even like. I'm out on the Quentin Grimes experience completely. And tonight's the night where they could have used him. Like if you get a pop of 10 points from Quentin Grimes, which shouldn't be a tall ask right there, like that's what you should expect from him. This is a different ball game if you can have that injection of energy. So the bench, like that completely falls on Daryl Morey.
How about Andre Drummond's corner threes again? I mean, that is electric every time he shoots it. You think it's going in, and he was 2 for 2 on those corner threes. And I was just pulling some research as the game was going on. Before this year, his first 13 seasons in the NBA, he made 23 total threes. 23 total three-pointers. This season alone, he's made 32, and that was just in the regular season before the playoffs even started. So it's incredible, his leap as a decent shooter, and they're going to continue to concede them. I mean, nobody's ever going to contest or guard his threes, but he's going to shoot them, and he's shooting 35% from three this year, and he's making them in a decent enough clip.
Yeah, you got to work on those free throws, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Never been good at them. Never been good at them.
Ugly. Well,
apparently, he used to be like one of the worst free throw shooters ever.
Yeah, he shot like 40% over a season.
Yeah. Apparently, he is one of the best dunkers over the past 14 years. Isn't that
I don't know what that means exactly.
I guess it means total number of dunks.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm sure he's up there. He's played for over a decade.
Quote, Drummond been one of the best dunkers in the NBA over 14 years. So I guess we're talking about numbers total, like how he gets his buckets, he throws it down.
Sure. I guess that's fair. Andre Drummond is also the self-proclaimed best rebounder of all time, if you ask him, which I would wholeheartedly reject that statement right there. But that's something that he says.
But again, he is in the top 20. So I guess if it's just sheer totals, then yeah, he's best dunker and best rebounder.
Yeah. I just don't.
I didn't know we had basketball royalty suiting up for us and Andre Drummond. Sorry. I need to respect him. And you know what? I need to go to more games if Andre Drummond is playing. We'll see what happens next year. I don't think he'll be back, correct? I think that
I would guess not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see. He's going to be back on Sunday. We'll keep this conversation going. Nobody commenting. I thought we would get a lot more comments. A lot of people are tuning in. Sixers wrap-up show. Sean Bray, Sean Barnard, Sam Oshtry. We've been doing it since January 22nd, going live after every game. We are here. It's game 3. Tough series against the Boston Celtics. We knew that was going to be the case. You got a team in Boston that is a championship contender. Sixers, not very much. But, man, there was a moment in that game, especially in the third quarter, where I started talking myself back into it going, man, like this is what we've been saying. These guys are all out there. They're playing. You get Embiid back. Like they could beat the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. And then they lose this game, and it's deflating, and it's more of the same. And, you know, you want to give the praise for the effort, but man, it's just about winning 7. It's about winning 4 out of 7, and it just doesn't look likely at this point in time. Not dead yet. You got Joel Embiid; he'll be back on Sunday. Hopefully, the case. I mean, there is Sean. Come on, man, we're begging. You know that.
Here's kind of the problem and why this was a
it's a 2-1 series against the Boston Celtics, a team that competes for championships versus the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that can't get out of the second round.
This team isn't very good, by the way. Whoever wins the East is going to be maybe the worst winner of the East of all time. This East is worse than we even thought at the beginning of the season. Nobody is even half decent in this East. My goodness. I mean, are we looking at these teams right now? The Hawks might get out of the East. The Celtics are not that good of a team, by the way. They have 2 superstars. They have a serious problem at center, which we can talk about a little later when we talk about how Joel Embiid is going to pick apart both Keita and Nikola Vucevic. Payne Pritchard is so up and down. He was terrible in game 2. He was fine or he was good tonight. But then Derek White just hasn't been a productive offensive player for months now. So this Celtics team isn't that good. The problem with why the Sixers need to win tonight and need to capitalize on this is the Celtics had 17 turnovers. They never turn the ball over. They're not a team that turns the ball over. And yeah, the Sixers got, I believe it was 21 points off turnovers, but that's not enough when you're forcing 17 turnovers. You need that defense to lead more offense, especially because the Sixers ball pressure was really good and they were the ones forcing those turnovers. But that's just rare for the Celtics to commit that many turnovers, and the Sixers couldn't capitalize offensively.
Tyrese Maxey went for 31 this evening. 6 assists, 2 blocks, and now he is averaging 27 points per game through the 3 games. He's doing everything he can. You just need a little help from your friends, and maybe JoJo will be able to bring that. Currently, right now, DraftKings Sportsbook, I'm seeing, Sam, if you want to let me know what the score is showing, but 7.5. Again, back to 7.5 for Sunday, 7:10 start. Game 4, Sixers are catching 7.5 point underdogs. I guess Joel Embiid is not baked into that line. I don't believe he is, because that was the number. I don't think there was a realistic expectation he was going to play from odds makers. So I think they're kind of coming in with that number going that JoJo isn't playing. Because if he is playing, clearly the Sixers have a better shot at winning this game, right? Am I out of my mind thinking this? Or am I expecting a little bit too much from Joel Embiid 17 days after surgery?
Go ahead, Sam.
We don't
you
know.
Want to push back? Yeah.
No, I mean,
yes, we do.
Look, I mean, the Sixers are way better when Joel Embiid plays. Every metric, the record, of course, we see that. You've also seen Embiid coming back from injury being really lethargic at times. And we don't know what version of Embiid's going to come back and how conditioned he's going to be. Is he going to play 20, 25 minutes? Is he going to play a full game like a star would? We just don't know. And we've seen the Sixers kind of change their play style and center it around Embiid. Does that mean Paul George is going to get less touches? Nick Nurse is going to be less intentional about getting him touches. A lot is going to change around him. And it's a must win. Game 4 is a must win. You can't go back to Boston down 3-1. So going into a must win game, not knowing what version of Embiid is going to be back is I'm not that confident if this team is going to be that much better, because they fought really hard tonight. The effort was as good as it's ever going to be. And I don't think the effort is going to be as good with a Joel Embiid on the floor. I just don't.
I'm a little concerned, Sean. I mean, I guess I've been a little bit of negative Nancy over these past few weeks, but I'm definitely a little concerned of what we're going to get for JoJo on Sunday. I don't think it's going to be. First of all, Sam, you said something along the lines of minutes restriction. I think that's potentially. I know Tim Bontemps said that too, as far as ESPN this morning or this afternoon. And it just feels like, man, he's going to be winded. I don't think we're going to get a conditioned, ready to go Joel Embiid. Again, he just had major surgery. I think he deserves a lot of credit for getting back out there. If he does, if he doesn't, it is what it is. Not much you can do about it. Just some more bad luck as far as JoJo is concerned. But if he is ready to go, 90% JoJo, what are you saying he's going to do on Sunday in Game 4, Sean?
Well, and I'll start by saying I've talked myself into this from both perspectives, because it's such a unique situation with the appendix surgery here. This is not like some things that we've had a track record on for Joel Embiid, coming back from a knee issue or coming back from a facial fracture. This is a situation where I'm not sure what lens to view it through. On one hand here, this isn't something that mechanically affects his body from a basketball ability standpoint. This isn't like a knee issue that is going to limit some of his movement or something like that. At the same time, he's been probably bedridden for 2 weeks, and the fitness level is an absolutely valid concern. So it's a huge question mark. I don't think there is a way to have realistic expectations. But what I will circle back to is Joel Embiid, man, even him at not close to 100%, this is as ideal of a matchup as you could ask for from him, that he's just going to be dog food with each of these Celtics big men. None of them have a chance of him just pulling up in the mid-range. He probably will foul out 2 of the 3 guys, would be my honest guess here. I think he'll get them in foul trouble. You get to slow the game down that way. He's going to get up to his bag of tricks of doing Joel Embiid stuff, and that's necessary. Think about if it's just Joel Embiid shooting those 2 free throws that Andre Drummond missed down the stretch. That changes the entire complexion of the game because he hits those. There's little things things like that I think matter. The rebounding, we're still going to have to talk about. The defensive, just lineup and organization and the way that they have to stay on the perimeter. There's flaws that come with it, but he's still one of the 10 best basketball players in the world whenever he's healthy, and I think we're going to get at least close to that version of Joel.
Can I expand on that too? Because I think there is a real matchup advantage for Joel Embiid, and there's something going on with the Celtics bigs right now where it was questionable why Joe Mazzulla was even playing Nikola Vucevic down the stretch of that game because he was getting torched defensively. But at the same time, it's really give and take because Keita, who is going to be a better defender in the pick and roll, offensively, he can't stretch the floor like Vucevic does. And Mazzulla just wants 3-point shooters all over the floor because when Keita's on the floor, you can kind of just pack the paint and you don't have to close out as long as the Sixers had to against Vucevic. But then you put Joel Embiid into the equation, and if you keep Vucevic on the floor against Joel Embiid, like Sean said, he is going to torch him. And you saw Paul George and Tyrese Maxey run the pick and roll with Andre Drummond. But Andre Drummond is not a guy who can operate in the short roll. You saw a couple of times Maxey and George delivered passes to him, those pocket passes in the short roll, and Drummond just doesn't know what to do with it because he doesn't have that little pull-up jumper. He can't explode to the rim. He's not the passer Embiid is. I was just envisioning Embiid in that spot instead of Drummond, it's going to be so dangerous. And the Celtics have a problem where last game they were playing complete deep drop. And that's why Maxey and VJ Edgecombe were able to get all these good looks from three. But then tonight, it was more, all right, they were in shallow drop. They were coming up to the level of the screen a little more. And you just didn't know how the Celtics were going to react to the pick and roll. But it's a give and take. If you're coming up to the level of the screen, you're going to have Joel Embiid for a pocket pass. And that's when Joel Embiid is lethal. And that's why Maxey and Embiid are the best pick and roll duo in the NBA. If you're going to keep in a deep drop to limit Joel Embiid, Maxey is going to torch you from three again. So the Celtics are having a lot of questions to answer. Even if Embiid plays 20 to 25 minutes, that's going to be really difficult for the Celtics to defend.
Oh, man. Tell you what, it is impressive to watch Jaylen Brown play basketball. Back to what you originally said, Sam. It was a really entertaining game. It was an ugly game at points, but it's NBA playoff basketball. It's going to be a knock 'em down, drag 'em out type of game. I don't care if you get to 100.
You like just watching guys drive down the lane and chuck elbows to create space breaks?
Jalen's a stud. Jalen's a beast. There's not.
There's a lot of that, though. There's a lot of that.
But Shea never got called for that.
It's true. And to the referee's credit, like Brown got bopped for a couple of them today. I think there was 3 or 4 that he got called on. But it was a flurry of offensive fouls too on ball screens. Weird officiated game. I thought again.
Yeah. See, I'm surprised, Sam, because I could talk myself into Detroit winning the East pretty easily, but I am not. As long as you got Brown and Tatum. The Magic, come on, man.
Magic are giving him a little scare right now. Like that series isn't over.
It's 1-1, isn't it?
Yeah, they drilled them. They crushed them.
They lost the game 1. You're right. I mean, they got.
I mean, that's why I'd still go with the Celtics because of Brown and Tatum. Yeah. But they don't have that much help. And you saw that really the last 2 games offensively. And then the Pistons can't shoot. Yeah, Pritchard, but he's up and down. He was terrible in game 2. The Pistons can't shoot. They don't have that much help offensively. The Knicks are a dumpster fire. They still should be the best team. It should be a free path for them, but they're a dumpster fire. I don't know who's going to get out of this East. I really don't.
Sixers ain't out yet, fellas.
Oh, here we go.
What about the Hawks? What if the Hawks are in the finals, like a Pacers type?
They look good.
I'm not ready to say the Knicks are done. I'm not.
I am, dude. They're crying in the locker room, Bryce. They're handing like all these stories leaking out. The Knicks might be the biggest disaster in the entire Eastern Conference, which is insanity based on everything else that is going down.
No, you're right about that. All right, I want to yell about the announcers for a second. Obviously, Sixers wrap-up show. Sixers lose game 3. We just broke that one down 28 minutes, so let's have some fun here. But they're the Kevin Collins and Del Curry. Eric Collins. They are the Charlotte Hornets regular season announcers. You see a lot of LaMelo Ball pulling up from 3 late in the 4th quarter. He nails it. I didn't know Curry yelled as much as he did. There was just, I guess what I would say is like, I like the enthusiasm. I like being different. He obviously loves the game, Collins, and like he knows what he's talking about. He had some pretty like inside information, inside basketball, but he was too cute. He was trying to like the nurse takes, like it was just
The
over
puns.
the top. Yeah, the puns. And then my big pushback would be it's NBA playoff basketball. Let the
Yeah.
game speak for itself. There's something to be said about the crowd going absolutely ape. You know what? Like, let the room speak. Let the viewer just enjoy that a little bit more. And like, that's not the reason why that guy got the gig. That guy got the gig because he makes a bicycle out of balloons, like during the broadcast. That's what he does. That's his MO. So I appreciate it. I understand it for Charlotte, right? Regular season, maybe. Like, dude, Sixers playoff basketball, get the fuck out of here. Sorry. Go ahead. Floor's yours.
I'm completely with you. And I think when you said let the game speak for itself, that's perfectly put, because they did anything but that tonight. And they had all these pre-rehearsed lines that Eric Collins had, like the nurse line. I can't even remember what it was, but it's just
the nurse wants a second opinion on that one.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, the nurse wants a second opinion. It's like,
and he
dude,
called
how
a
many times
timeout.
did you
And he
practice
called
that?
a timeout too.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, the nurse wants to have a yeah. It's
like, all right, you're a broadcaster, not a poet. And I think sometimes these guys forget that, because Mark Jones is really good at doing these poetry lines sometimes. But for the most part, it doesn't really play. And it's obvious when it's pre-rehearsed before a broadcast and not genuinely in the flow of the game, which is why Mark Jones is so good at it. So I think sometimes these broadcasters think they're a poet and think the games are about them. And that's fine for the home broadcast. But this isn't the home broadcast. This is a playoff broadcast. And the energy and the mood and everything was off. And they definitely know ball. There's no doubt about that. So I appreciate that. It's just they were getting stuff wrong constantly too. Really, really poor broadcast for a playoff game.
There's a lot of really talented broadcasters out there. And I just like, you don't need that. This is, come on, man. You're talking about the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Like, have a little pride in the operation. I don't know. Sean, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you nailed it as far as let the game speak for itself. Like, I do think there's a place for like this type of commentary. Like, I that would fire me up.
All-Star
watching the
Weekend.
Hornets game. Yeah, and even like the Hornets, like when it's LaMelo throwing lobs to Brandon Miller or Miles Bridges or whatever the case may be, and he's screaming on the mic. I think that's awesome right there. When it is dagger threes being hit to like put the game away with the Sixers behind there, doesn't quite hit the same way. And some of that is, I'm sure, coming from like the losing side of things from the game perspective. But just let the game speak, man. Like, we're all here to watch basketball. We're all here to get the takeaways for the games. I'm not here to repeat whatever these one-liners are, whatever the case may be. So there was just a lot of too much noise.
It's also, I've never heard of a home broadcast doing a national game. I know it's obviously a new broadcast partner, but have you ever heard of that? It's like both guys in the booth. I know sometimes the play-by-play guy will get pulled for national games, but both guys in the booth transition to doing a national game. That's unheard of.
Well, his last name is Curry. First of all, and I also said this during the game to myself. I didn't tweet it, but dude, Amazon, the halftime with Blake Griffin and Dirk, like, what?
Oh, you don't like it?
I'll just say this. It's not that I don't like it. I would just say NBC, for my money, far and away better.
Oh,
really?
No.
Yeah.
That's a hot take, Brady.
Yeah,
that is a hot take.
Far and away, a much better,
I think NBC
easier
is
watch.
terrible. Oh, I think NBC is terrible at it. I do not like
Maria?
Melo and Vince and McGrady.
Oh, man.
No.
Yeah. I'm all about those guys.
No,
Yeah.
I think Jonas Haslam is great. Blake Griffin's one of my favorite athletes.
I like
and
Blake Griffin.
personalities of all time. He's hilarious. I think
Taylor
Steve
All right,
Nash
well,
is good at breaking
we
down
don't
the
need
game.
5 people on the dais.
Okay, but we're going to compare Taylor Rooks and Maria Taylor. Come on, Brace.
I think Maria Taylor,
better.
I'm telling you right now, she go toe-to-toe with Taylor. Don't you
Nope.
dare.
Wow.
Yes,
Nope.
she would. As far as a setup, come on,
I'm saying
man.
as a host. I'm saying as a host.
As a host.
No, I think Amazon's awesome.
Yeah, I'm on Sam's side of
Look,
things. for
Dirk
this.
doesn't
I
need to be
do.
there. You could get Dirk out of there, but other than that, it's awesome.
Correct.
Sure.
All right.
I like
Well,
Blake Griffin.
They went to
yeah.
Dirk right out to shoot at halftime, and he was like,
They did.
and I'm like, all right, so you just went from that booth where they're literally yelling at me over missed layups and the lady in the back behind them getting popcorn and everything else that was taking place. And then you go to halftime, and it's Dirk bumbling all over the place. I don't know. Like, it wasn't their finest hour, I guess. Maybe it wasn't, but I do enjoy NBC. I won't lie about that. All right, Sean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was on Sam's side of things for the conversation.
All right, well, then
I
shut
think
up then.
yeah, I can hear you on the too many cooks in the kitchen conversation, that there is a lot of star power and a lot of pure faces and names on that on the overall breakdown right there. But I think they do a good job of it, and I think they have a good little like vibe amongst each other, which I appreciate. But the bottom line is, you can name whoever is on the broadcast for me. I'm going to be locked into the game, and I think that the Prime has lost a little bit of sight in that.
Yeah, Maxey got tired late. Tatum and Brown kind of just picked their poison on Drummond or Maxey to end that game. Yeah, been all over at TTP. Just a tough one, tough loss, but they got another game on Sunday. It's do or die. They got to find a way to win that game. We'll see what happens with Joel Embiid. I do want to bring this up though with Peyton Pritchard, because he was definitely a guy that had my attention coming out of Oregon for obvious reasons. 6'1", pulls up, like we knew his game. I do remember when he was drafted by the Celtics that everybody was like, he's going to be lighting it up. If Pritchard ended up with like the Sixers, if Pritchard ended up anywhere other than the Celtics, is he having that type of career? Because he's carving out a nice little career. He was 6th man of the year, right? He knocks down a ton of shots. I feel like every time I'm watching, he's hitting big time shots. He had a couple of those big ones. Right that when they won the championship, if I'm not mistaken, where he was hitting some crazy like half court shots.
He's their go to halftime or the full court shot.
Yeah,
like he's like their specialist with that, which is kind of sick that you even have that. But
Pritchard's a good NBA basketball player, correct?
Definitely,
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I'm more of the mindset that I think the Celtics were a pretty ideal location for him stylistically, with how much they emphasize shooting threes. But I think if he would have landed anywhere, he would have found his lane. I do think he's just straight up a good NBA player and has earned his keep around the league. So shout out to Peyton Pritchard. He's certainly maximized his talents, maximized his role. And the Celtics are definitely reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah, remember when Caton Clark got all offended, right? I'm like, wait a minute, dude, Peyton Pritchard's like a pretty good basketball player. Shut up. But go ahead, Sam.
Well, that was a funny comp because Caton Clark's like the best player in the league, and Peyton Pritchard's, but I get it.
What he was supposed to say, LeBron? Is that what
Steph Curry is what you wanted? Yeah, Steph Curry is what you wanted.
I think Reggie was going for the aesthetic of maybe their look. Was the comp and all that. Peyton Pritchard's an incredible player, and he had 3 years of really developing in the Celtics system. And he was playing a little bit, but not a whole lot. Before that championship run, he was a real contributor. And then last year's role increased even more. And then this year, he's had the biggest role of his career and averaging career highs across the board, including points. He's known for having one of the best work ethics in the NBA. So I think that's certainly part of it. Obviously, he's an incredible shooter off the bounce, off the catch. But what's so impressive is his footwork and how he can finish among the trees as such a small guy. I mean, he's like 6 foot, 6'1" top. So yeah, he's a really good NBA player, and his development over the last 6 years has been pretty impressive.
Got a big time rebound today too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Big time sports day here in Philadelphia. That's for damn sure. A lot happening with the Eagles, the draft, the big time trade. The Phillies. Yeah, how he does it again. Phillies end up losing again. Jeez, dude. They're literally it's 10. They are literally going to miss the playoffs. The summer is going to be terrible, and they're going to have to fire Thompson on April 26th. I don't see them winning this weekend. I really don't.
Are they not going to fire Dombrowski?
I don't know how this goes down. I know Ricky Bo was saying that he thinks Kevin Long would go first, which is the hitting coach, but
that comment was absurd. About
there's so many. That and Dombrowski's saying we don't have a cleanup hitter. It's like that's your job, dude. Like you build the roster here.
I mean, you see this all the time. It's just you got to get out of these rosters. We're talking about the Phillies right now. The Sixers in the playoffs still. It's still a series. But you got to get out of these rosters early before it's 1 year too late. Everybody didn't want them to run it back. They had a worse season every single year since they made the World Series run. It's like, what did you expect? This happens in a bunch of sports all the times. And you see, not even dynasties, but you see great aging teams fade, and that's what's happening.
All right. Great aging teams. Nice little segue. Real quick look around the NBA playoffs as a whole. Rockets, take the lead 95-91. That's late in the fourth quarter. Pretty good game there as the Lakers have a 2-0 advantage. When we started this stream, the Lakers were up. So I was expecting to come over and thinking that they were going to be up 3-0. Sam, your takeaway on that series so far? It's pretty impressive to see what LeBron James is doing. If I take that away, what else?
Yeah, there was a stretch. I had it on the second TV during the Sixers game. There's a stretch where Bronny hit a three, and then LeBron threw an alley-oop to Bronny. So it was a pretty cool father-son moment there. This is a weird series because the Rockets' advantage is with their size. And they've been dominating the offensive boards against the Lakers. And because of that, they're getting so many extra shots. So they've shot, like, I think in the first game, they shot 27 more shots than the Lakers. And the second game was 17 more shots. Now I'm looking at it for this game that they've attempted almost 16 more shots than the Lakers in this game. When you shoot a lot more shots, that should lead to a lot more points. It hasn't for the Rockets because they just don't have offensive creators. They don't have shooters, especially without Kevin Durant has missed 2 games. So I don't know what's happened in the second half of this game. It seems like they're making just enough shots tonight, and the Lakers are struggling on offense. But this Rockets team is bad, and they're a mess.
Yeah,
and Austin Reeves is coming back for Game 4, and Luka might even be back later in the series.
Yeah, there are people saying that Luka doesn't need to play in this playoffs, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I understand it. And obviously based off of what happened with Williams and his hamstring with Oklahoma City, there's some people that are now saying it's probably not in the best interest of the Lakers to march him out there just because you're in the playoffs, but whatever. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, the Lakers were up 85. They've led this game 85% of the time. They now trail by 2 under 90 seconds. Their game is in Houston, and the Rockets currently have the ball. Reed Shepherd working, driving, lays it up. Oh, blocked. We're going the other way. So this one's a tight one down there in Houston. Sean, your takeaway from this, who do you expect to come out? You still going to ride with the Lakers here or Rockets?
Yeah, my expectation going into the series is that the Rockets would win this here. That I thought that they were just going to beat them up on the boards, have too much on the interior, which really is a weakness of this Lakers team. Kevin Durant not being available sort of throughout my calculations a little bit. I didn't think there was a chance he was going to actually miss time, and it's kind of a unique situation with the injury happening in practice and sort of the lead up there. Pretty unlucky for Durant, and I know he's dealing with an ankle that he sprained in Game 2 right there. He's been really healthy and really available all year, and it's a bummer for it to end like this, but his skill set is so necessary for this Rockets team to reach their peak, and they don't have that right there. I don't believe in either of these teams as true contenders. I think the West is loaded, and they aren't in quite the top tier of that. But I respect the Lakers. I think LeBron smelled a little blood in the water that there is no KD, and he's fully taking advantage of it. So I do feel the Lakers are going to win it after they took the 2-0 lead, but entered with the mindset the Rockets were going to win.
And no Wemby tonight. Spurs and Trailblazers are tied up 1. I think the Trailblazers are going to take tonight too as well, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Wemby and the Spurs is they're really good without him, which is why I didn't believe he could really be the MVP, is because this is a good team without him, and he was playing less than 30 minutes per game. So this is a pretty evenly matched series if Wemby isn't playing, but he should be back for Game 4. The Blazers are a team that likes to drive downhill. They just like to get downhill, leading with Denny Avdija. Scoot Henderson has been incredible. And when you can get downhill, when the Spurs don't have the rim protector that Wemby is. So I think that's something you should expect to see tonight. They should get more offense going because of how they can get downhill and get to the rim. But I ultimately think the Spurs still win the series, but it's going longer than people think because of Wemby's injury.
Your thoughts on Williams being gone with Oklahoma City? He's going to miss the rest of the playoffs potentially, right? All the way up in if the finals, would you think?
Yeah, I think we probably don't see him again in this stretch. That wow. I think. I mean,
really?
Especially
it said they said week to week though.
They did, but this is also like a retweak issue. Like this is something that like he's already dealt with. That he aggravated.
It's a different hamstring. Earlier this year, he dealt with the other hamstring.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. So I still don't know if that really helps the case for things here.
I don't know.
He hasn't looked right all year. Like he's shot below 30% from 3 this year. And when you flash back to last year's title run, he was like a difference maker. Like that was their number 2 guy that carried their offense for stretches and evolved into a player that I wasn't sure he was going to ever be capable of that. So he's a huge part of their formula. They have depth. They have other talents right there, but that's a massive just change in the construction of the team overall. Going to need an AJ Mitchell to step up and be the guy, and we'll see if he's capable of it.
Yep. Oklahoma City currently up 2-0 on the Phoenix Suns. No surprise as far as that one is concerned. All right.
That's why this league is the greatest thing on earth. We have no idea who's coming out of either conference. We don't. It's going to be an incredible next 7-8 weeks.
Well, you tell me who's coming out of the West and the East in the NHL, Sam, then.
The NHL.
I
assume the Flyers are in the East.
You're damn right. Yes, because they're going to knock the
Flyers and I don't know, the Golden Knights in Vegas. I know they're a new team.
Montreal Canucks. I don't know.
Avalanche, Colorado. Go Colorado and if you were going to take the favorites, it would be Colorado and Carolina. But Flyers got Carolina next week. Oh, by the way, I'll be broadcasting live down there tomorrow from 4 to 7 inside the barn, getting you ready for Game 4 with the Flyers up 3 games.
Is the barn Xfinity stateside live?
No, Xfinity Mobile. The barn.
Oh, really? You're in the building?
Is where they play. Yeah, hockey term. They call it the barn.
Oh, I had no idea when you texted out. What in the world is the barn? I think it's probably stateside live, but I don't know.
Fucking barn. I love it. Yes, I'll be down there rocking out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, let's put a bow on this one. It's tough, man, because that was a game that I had a gut feeling that they weren't going to pull out, but in the back of my mind, I was very hopeful, and it was obtainable. It was there. It's just the Boston Celtics do what the Boston Celtics do, and they hit a bunch of clutch shots down the stretch. Ball bounced their way. Not much you could do about it. It's a tough loss. Sean Barnard, put a bow on it.
Yeah, it's a bummer that this one does leave a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. It was a winnable game that they had a chance at, but the bottom line is you got to find a way to brush it off, get yourself up, and get ready for your best possible performance in Game 4. It is a must-win. I do think that they'll get at least like an emotional lift if Joel Embiid is to return, even if he's not at full strength, and they better find a way to win that game. So all hands on deck for Game 4. I don't think this series is over just yet.
Sam?
I'm getting texts left and right about LeBron did something that he messed up. So I think LeBron lost this game. Oh, did he?
Bad turnover.
He didn't run back on defense.
He tried. It was a Şengün pick 6 situation, and Şengün somehow beat him down the floor.
Got it. All right, I'll watch that after. I think that comment from Sixers TTP about Maxey being tired late was something Barnard mentioned earlier. And that was part of the reason why they went to Paul George so much late in that game, because I think Maxey was pretty tired. He played 42 minutes in this game, and he led the league in minutes all season. So I think that's something to watch on a one-day rest of how much these starters played. Can they compete and have the same intensity and effort? Maybe the adrenaline and being at home and the crowd behind you will get you up, but it's just going to be hard because you have to bring that same level of defensive intensity, that same competitiveness, because it was off the charts. They just didn't have enough pieces and horses offensively, but defensively and effort, and they were first to the floor in 50-50 balls. They won all those battles. So that was there for the Sixers. It's really going to come down to, is Joel Embiid going to play? How much is he going to play? And what version of him are we going to get? Which is 3 questions we don't know the answer to right now, but they can win this series because the Celtics aren't that good. If you get a healthy, motivated, moving Joel Embiid, the Sixers can win this series, no doubt.
Love it.
Yeah, I get there. If you wait, what'd you say? If you get a motivated, healthy
moving,
moving. Okay, moving is conditioned. Moving is conditioned. Yeah, that goes hand in hand. Any interest to going on Sunday from you guys?
Maybe.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I could be talked into that.
All right, we'll see what ticket prices are. And look. And that's if Embiid doesn't play or plays, one or the other. Obviously, it'll be a little cheaper. If he doesn't, if he does, whatever.
LeBron,
all right. Well,
tying 3.
Yeah. LeBron just nailed a game tying 3.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 13 seconds left. That's a great game, man. Great game.
That makes up for it.
And look, and talking about stories from the NHL perspective, right? Nothing bigger and better than the Penguins and Flyers getting the party started. Lakers advancing would be an awesome deal. Awesome deal because I expected them to do it, and then all of a sudden it was like, now that they lost Reeves, now they lost Luka, like that sucks. But if they advance, like it's at least something to tune in for.
And because you just talked about Jalen Williams is out at least for the beginning of round 2, so Lakers will have an edge in that series in a lot of ways.
Watch out for my T-Wolves getting back to the conference finals.
Facts.
They might make the finals. Who's gonna stop them?
I believe it.
Gobert is shutting down Joker.
He is.
Fraud.
Yeah.
Fraud.
All right. Hey, man, a lot of fun, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it. As always, for Sam Oshtry from The Score, Sean Barnard from DK Network and Crossing Broad, I'm Sean Brace. Tomorrow, live from 4 to 7 from the barn in South Philadelphia. Are you kidding me? We'll talk to you. Peace.